All right, what's up, guys? This is Mr. Skipper. So we're gonna go over a quick overlay of what exactly Sunkenland is, and I know it's a newer game. So originally released back on August 25th, came out with a 20% launch discount, so you can get it for about $15.99. It's pretty awesome. But what's really impressive is the fact that these guys not only have they released a very fun game, but extremely responsive. So we're talking the very next day, they already dropped a hotfix that added a bunch of stuff. Like the day one, I know some people were having trouble with their boat getting stuck on land. They already fixed that, so they added a feature to push the boat offshore. Toggle for camera shake to make sure that it's not getting crazy whenever you're chopping trees, which is pretty crazy. Increase the amount of cloth that you were getting, added more marlins to the game because you need those for quite a few different things. We're not going to really go through all the bug fixes. There's a few of them, but so that was day one, and then they also fixed the connectivity issues on day two, or that was still day one. That was August 26th. So 27th, they were talking about how you could transition to the test version or the test branch of the older version if you didn't want disruptions into your game, because they would drop some more stuff and it would end up dropping some stuff out. So here we are, Thursday, August 31st, less than a week later, they dropped their first big one. So they overhauled the core game to address recent saving and loading issues. They reduced saving time and improved loading stability. They also advanced the stability of the massive world. They tested saves on 30k building pieces. Unfortunately, this update will wipe your inventory and equipment. Any saved equipment and character inventory from the game or 1.04 or earlier will not load correctly. Your buildings will most likely be preserved, so before updating, you could log into the old one, store your inventory into a chest, and then log out, and then afterwards go into the new update, load your world. They do recommend starting fresh. So we did notice that we lost quite a bit of our inventory. We lost everything on our persons. We lost quite a bit inside of our buildings as well. So we did end up making a new save on one of them. But bug fixes again really took care. Like at the beginning, you would be able to grow strawberries in bushes in literally a minute and a half. It took no time. So they've definitely fixed that out. But they also added a new island. I mean, we're talking less than a week. They also added cotton plants to the radio island because they were very difficult to get to at first. They increased the number of tire stacks and starting areas, so you had more ways to get rubber out of the gate. There's more loot available in initial areas, and I've started a new playthrough since they did this, and it is noticeable. It's definitely there. Guns now display their compatible ammo type, which is pretty cool. Initial armor and helmet now crafted with leather instead of cloth. Leather is still kind of difficult to get, which is fine. But they also did some improvements to where your snacks provide more food, hunger, and a slight health boost. They slowed down how quick you get hungry and thirsty during sleep, because essentially whenever you would sleep, you would pretty much wipe all of it. It doesn't matter how much you had whenever you went to sleep. So now it's about half. They reduced the stamina cost for jumping and slightly improved jump height, slightly lowered underwater base effect. It was very, very basey. Enhanced iron, copper, seaweed, rubber, and cloth availability, increased rubber and cloth generation, improved stamina recovery speed, lowered the searchlight electricity consumption, reduced penalties for hunger, thirst, and energy loss on death, expanded wood stack size to 20 units, clear crafting wish list pen icon. You can pin what you're trying to build up top, and then hanging lights now have smaller collider size. Essentially, whenever you first built a hanging light, you wouldn't even be able to walk underneath it because it would just collide with it above you. So that's pretty cool. And then so we got that one. Now we're on to, they've got their roadmap, but we're going to go through that at the end. So the newest one came out September 3rd. So we're about 8-9 days in, which is amazing. So they were able to put in the ability to move base objects. So essentially you can build a packing box. You can craft this item to store your place objects in your inventory and relocate them easily. There's a small gyrocopter in the game, and they've added a chest to it. So now you have storage options. You're now able to stack chests, which is amazing, because before you could only lay one down on the floor, and you couldn't really put them on the wall. You couldn't lay them sideways. You could just lay one out, and then you had to lay another one beside it. So now you can stack them up, which is definitely going to be a lot easier for building your base and making it look a lot better. Co-op enhancements, general improvements to co-op game connectivity for a smoother multiplayer experience. Honestly, we didn't really have a whole lot of issues with our multiplayer experience. We didn't run into a lot of bugs or anything like that. For the most part, the game is fairly polished. Most of it's quality of life issues. I mean, there's a few bugs, but it's not game breaking like many other games. Private co-op games, you now have the option to hide your co-op game from public view. Server selection enhancement, remove the best region option to eliminate confusion. Players must manually select the preferred server. Invitation server access, when joining through an invitation, server passwords are now disregarded, so you don't have to worry about putting in a password if you're invited. And then added a hint for switching ore types when using the ore detector. I personally have never used the ore detector. I'm not 100% sure what that means. I'm assuming it's to just switch ore types, but I mean, whenever you kind of figure out what they are, I don't really think that the ore detector is necessary. Once you're able to kind of realize what they look like, you can see them from a mile away, it feels like. Excuse me. So they also fixed an issue where fish nets were not yielding fish. I believe that the fish nets would say that you had fish in them, but whenever you went to collect it, there would be nothing there. And then batteries cannot be removed after loading a save game. I know for the longest time they were saying any batteries you bought from the trader, you would not be able to remove from the item to charge them up. So that's fixed. Air tank cannot be placed in the slot. I've not had that issue. Server list displaying incorrect region. Fixed issue where joining friend server resulting in selection of wrong server. Some branches cannot be picked up after loading the game. In certain cases, strawberries cannot be picked up during co-op gameplay. Hit marker occasionally not disappearing. Air tank's capacity can exceed 100%. That one I've seen. It will go up to like 112. Pushing the boat while on board causes excessive speed. That's awesome. Endless copies of air tank appearing. So yeah, that was a whether you meant to do it or not, it was whenever you're playing co-op, if one of you put your air tanks in to fill it and you pulled it back, there would be another one there for your other player, and they would have to remove it to be able to fill theirs. So it was pretty much like an endless amount of air tanks, just like it says. I mean, it was a ton. Fixed issue, excessive meat yield from sea turtles. Honestly, we don't really kill too many of those. They take a whole lot of hits, and they only give you 2 pieces of meat. It's easier to go after the marlin, so you at least get the skin. There's nothing. They don't give you a shell or anything. Fixed issue, joining a friend's server displays room is full incorrectly. Fixed issue, birds colliding with players and planes. Disconnected generators losing wire connections after loading the game, and picked up logs reappearing after loading. So I haven't seen anything like most of those issues, but they are fixed. Balancing gameplay. Reduced enemy firepower after day 50. Note the rating system will undergo an overhaul this month to enhance the base defense experience. So again, amazing. They're already going to drop another overhaul this month. So we can expect at least another update. The way that they're kind of churning these things out, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see one every week until they kind of get this thing a little bit more polished. And what's really exciting is what they're talking about in the roadmap. So that's what I really want to kind of get into here. I want to go over all the updates and everything this game has offered so far, which is pretty amazing. So we're just going to go through this line for line, and we'll just kind of go over it. So, greetings, Sunkenlanders. We're thrilled to share our upcoming roadmap for our beloved game, filled with enhancements and new features that will take your gaming experience to the next level. Our team has been hard at work listening to your feedback and crafting a roadmap that stays true to the heart of the game while introducing exciting new possibilities. Let's dive right in. So this is the roadmap. This is what they're planning to fix. So polish the existing features to improve gameplay, fix bugs, and enhance user experience, obviously. Implement an endless open world gameplay design by adding respawnable loot and respawning factions / enemies to keep players engaged and motivated to explore. One of the big downers of this game currently is that there is a finite amount of loot. Eventually you're going to run out of stuff to loot other than trees and stuff that you can plant. Eventually there's not going to be any more. You can build so much and then you're done. And people that like to build massive bases, or to really kind of just like jump in and just making an insane base out in the water or wherever, you know, it's kind of a negative for us, right? So now we have the ability, hopefully, to add respawnable loot and respawning factions. So after you kill them, they'll come back, which is awesome. Introducing a system where players can claim and hold islands occupied by enemies, fostering strategic gameplay and territorial control. I can see that being awesome. Experiment with emergent gameplay by allowing new factions to emerge after existing ones are destroyed, adding an element of unpredictability and challenge. So what it sounds like, which sounds really cool, is like essentially if you could clear out an island next to your base, you know, even if it's a starting island, you stand a really good chance that you could get the hardest faction to move in on that maybe whenever you're fairly early game, which could create quite the challenge. So that's pretty exciting to kind of not know who you're going to go up against. So I'm pretty excited about that. Enhanced replayability by incorporating a degree of random map generation, offering unique experience with each playthrough. That could be really cool. The only downfall I can see with that is like some areas around you, you definitely need the air tank and the fins and all that stuff to really be able to get down because it's so deep underwater or dark and you don't have a light yet. So as long as they can kind of keep a couple of the areas around the starting island fairly attainable, I think it could be pretty decent. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do with that. It'd be really cool to kind of be closer to these later game areas that you're able to loot, if you're able to kind of do it. Expand base building options with new structures like triangle shapes and half walls, as well as introduce new building materials such as marble to encourage creative base designs. Awesome. I'm a huge fan of being able to build bases in game. Really like letting the creativity flow and build as big as possible. In some places, they're just very like realistic, right? So whenever we build bases, we always have like a bedroom, even though we don't need a bedroom. There would be 3 beds for 3 players, even though you could all sleep on one or what have you. So it's really cool to kind of be able to do something like that, especially if they have the loot respawning and that you have new structures to be able to build. It'd be a lot easier than just everyone having a square box on the ground, right? Add interactivity to the game world by introducing interactable furniture and base items such as playable CD players, sittable sofas, and plantable flowers, allowing players to personalize their environments. Again, really being able to create your space and make something that's really cool that you can show off. Awesome. Introduce additional base defenses like landmines and surveillance cameras to provide players with more tactical options for protecting their bases. That sounds amazing. Hopefully the landmines do not blow up your base, because that would be a downer. Expand the range of home decorations, including rare and visually appealing items to incentivize exploration and reward players for their achievements. Awesome. Enrich the underwater gameplay experience by adding more explorable underwater sites and monuments, encouraging players to delve into the depths. That seems amazing. I still have yet to see everything that this game has to offer. I feel like we've gotten about halfway through the map on one of our longest playthroughs, and it's awesome every time. I really like the aesthetic of it. Subnautica was a lot of fun, but it was just ocean. Like, this is really cool. You're finding abandoned buildings underwater, and you're kind of seeing this world that's been left behind. You're seeing the police station or the school, and the stuff that's there is kind of correlating with it, right? So like the police station, you find a ton of guns and ammo, whereas the school, you find a lot of cloth and you find a lot of clothes and stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense for the most part. So I'm really excited about that. Create more rateable islands / atolls with varying challenges and rewards, offering players the chance to engage in exciting combat scenarios. Awesome. I like the combat for the most part in this game. The hitboxes are a little bit wonky sometimes, and enemies can kind of clip through the environment and they can freely shoot you, but you're not able to shoot them. So, if that gets ironed out a bit, I would love to be able to do some super complicated raids and islands. It just sounds like it'd be a ton of fun. We've had a lot of fun with the few that we've done. Introduce higher tiers of technology, Tier 5, Tier 6 research station to provide advanced gameplay opportunities and unlock new crafting recipes. Awesome. Again, back to the building. I'm all about it. And hopefully they put some really cool stuff in there that we could really enjoy. Expand the variety of blueprints available to players, allowing for more diverse crafting and customization options. So currently there's a ton of blueprints, it feels like, in the game for just like basic furniture. So the fact that we'll be able to interact with them in the future sounds awesome. And then some of it actually creates storage, but all the storage is the same. If we could do like different grades of blueprints, right? So, if I have a small chest of drawers that's got 4 drawers in it, but also build a wardrobe that's 3 times bigger, I feel like it should hold more loot. So if they can do something along those lines, I think that would be awesome. I'm not super excited about the variety of blueprints unless it's like applicable stuff. If it's just more decorations, I feel like we have a ton in the game, an excessive amount of like chairs and sofas and stuff like that. So hopefully they can kind of really hone that in or make some really cool stuff. Maybe we can make our own neon signs or something along those lines. It could be really cool because neon signs are amazing. Diversify combat mechanics by introducing a wider range of weapons, both melee and ranged, to accommodate different playstyles. That seems really good. Currently, it seems like there's about a handful of games, maybe 8 guns in the game, rather, and a couple of melee weapons. But, I mean, honestly, once you get over to guns, there's no reason to stay with melee. So it'd be really cool if they can kind of give you a reason to do that, other than maybe people just pushing up in your face. But for the most part, once you move over to firearms, you pretty much stay with firearms, it feels like. Enrich player customization by adding more outfit options with a focus on unique and visually distinctive choices. Okay. That's awesome. If we had the ability to scrap clothes, that would be awesome. Because currently, we'll have 2 dump chests out on our dock that we just take to the trader, and we normally just throw clothes in there, and we throw sellables, obviously, and then any decorations that we don't need. And it's insane how quick we fill those up. And with us having such limited inventory, we're very much like collectathon. We want to collect everything, all the loot that we find, we pick it up, right? And it's so many clothes. Like, that's traditionally the first thing that we discard, because it's a ton. So I like the idea that they want to add more outfit options, because it'd be cool to kind of be able to kind of pick and choose a little bit more than what they give you. But can we scrap them down? I mean, even if we only get 1 piece of cloth, even if we get like rags and we have to put like 5 rags together to make a cloth, I think would still be better, because at least there's a way that it's not a complete waste of time. Like, right, it's worth taking with you. So hopefully we can do something like that. Introducing new AI factions to the game, enhancing gameplay variety and challenge by introducing different enemy behaviors and strategies. That's awesome. I mean, currently I want to say that there's 6 factions in the game. I could be wrong. It might be 5. But yeah, adding more, I'm all for it. I'm not entirely sure exactly how the raid system works. I think it's after a certain amount of days, they start switching to a different faction that comes after you. I'm not sure if it's because you went and fought them first. Like, that's something I'm really kind of curious about, because I think that would be really cool. I love the raid mechanics, but I wonder if we could set it up to where the Marauders will only raid you if you've raided them, right? So you can kind of take a little bit of time and build if you need to before you're engaged with fights and stuff, because they get very intense later. But I know they said before that they're going to work on that as well. So we'll see what happens with that one. Develop compelling lore, create engaging stories, and design quests that immerse players in the game world and provide meaningful objectives. That's awesome. Currently, there's no story, there's no missions, there's very little background on what's happening. So that would be very cool to kind of get some lore and get us some quests that actually give us a reason to go to places and to do things or to find something. I think that would be really cool. Expand the game's vehicle roster by introducing new options like cargo boats and gunships, enhancing exploration and combat opportunities. All right, come on. How can you not be excited for that? Gunships? Yes, please. Want to go raid an island with like a 50 cal stuck on the back of a John Deere boat? I'm all about that. And then cargo boats? If we're going out and just looting, it would be amazing to not have to take 2 boats and have 2 full inventories and still not get it 100%. We'd have to come back 2 or 3 times, it feels like sometimes, if we want to take everything back with us, because that's just kind of what's been conditioned in our minds, right? We see loot, we want it. So that sounds amazing. I'm very excited about that. Implementing boat combat mechanics, including enemy boat encounters and invasions, to add dynamic challenges and expand the scope of gameplay. That sounds amazing. If there's a pretty... as long as they don't, like, 2-shot your boat and it goes away, that could be very frustrating. But if they set it up right, I think that could be super fun, having gunboats and gunships. And then also, if we kill them, do we get their boat? Can we sell it or scrap it or something? Or do we just blow up their boat? I guess we'll find out. We're implementing okay, we did that one. Enhance map functions and introduce a more intuitive waypoint system, allowing for more improved navigation and better cooperative communication. That sounds great. Currently, I think the only way that you can put waypoints in is if you drop a flag or you can drop a buoy out in the water. So I would like the idea that we could just drop a waypoint on the map, like, hey, we're gonna go loot here, and then we're good. That sounds awesome. Hopefully it's something along those lines. Provide players with enhanced character customization options to ensure they can create unique avatars that suit their preferences. Yeah, currently we've got like 2 or 3 options for each, for I think it's head, hair, and maybe facial hair. I don't even remember. It's very limited. It's very small, but it is what it is. Improve server world settings to offer more customization and controller options, enhancing multiplayer experience. So that's cool. You can kind of set it up to where there's more loot or an easier experience. Implement animated poses and additional server controls to create a more immersive and enjoyable cooperative gameplay experience. That sounds great. Gives you that ability to kind of be able to talk with other people, or communicate with them without talking, rather. Introducing full key binding support and controller compatibility to cater to a wider range of players' preferences. Awesome. I know that some of the buttons here are a little bit weird, and it'd be nice to be able to fully keybind, or some people maybe they want to use their controller. That's fine too. Optimize the game's networking and frame rates to ensure smoother performance and a better overall player experience, and expand language support to make the game accessible to players from various regions and backgrounds. So obviously, they add a little caveat here. Please note that things may evolve during the course of development to align with what best suits the game. We anticipate the community will actively participate in providing feedback, helping us create an exceptional gaming experience. Our ultimate goal is to ensure everyone can fully enjoy the captivating world of Sunkenland. Alright, so how will we approach this extensive development list? Our strategy involves a step-by-step approach focusing on key features initially. This includes implementing essentials such as key binding and enhancing mechanics for replayability. Meanwhile, we will be addressing minor bugs and introducing smaller features on the side. Now you might be wondering about the timeline and frequency of updates. Expect to see minor patches and improvements rolled out within a matter of days, often followed by more substantial updates. Major updates that encompass significant features such as the map waypoint systems or substantial content additions like a brand new map and faction are projected to be released within weeks to a month. Wow. Within a month. That's amazing. Rest assured, we're committed to avoiding updates that exceed a month in duration. Our aim is to keep you engaged and excited without prolonged waiting periods. This approach not only respects your time, but also ensures a more iterative development process, allowing us to incorporate your feedback as we progress. This game has just been released, and our current top priority is ensuring its stability in both single-player and cooperative modes, while also striving for a bug-free experience. Additionally, we're implementing quality-of-life changes. Moving forward, our focus will shift towards enhancing replayability and enriching the game world to extend meaningful playtime. Our aim is to consistently provide you with a wealth of exciting new content in each major update. Thank you for your enthusiasm and dedication to Sunkenland. Your engagement is vital to shaping this journey. We can't wait to bring you along for the ride. So, I don't know about you guys, pretty stoked, right? They're talking about they want, substantial content additions like brand new map and factions are projected to be released within weeks to a month. That's great. And we have the clarity right out the gate, right? Like they're already telling us the roadmap. There's been games in the past, we don't see the roadmap for months, sometimes even a year later. So to kind of get this within the first week and a half, I'm really liking these guys. I'm really liking this game, and I think the potential that this could definitely get up there with one of the best survival games in my opinion. The gameplay hook is awesome. The loot hook is super addicting. You just want to keep getting more. You want to keep building more. You want to keep looting more. You want to keep fighting more. Like it's so far it's so easy to get lost in this game. You'll sit down, hey, I'm going to play for a few minutes, and then, oh, wow, it's been like 4.5 hours. Maybe I should go to bed, right? It's one of those games, and it's really got you hooked. It seems like it's really got its claws in us. We've been contemplating kind of doing something else with this, but, the way that they keep bringing out these updates, and they have this clarity, and they're constantly involving the player with their decisions, pretty stoked about it, and I have a feeling we're going to be doing a whole lot more of Sunkenland than we ever thought whenever it first came out. So definitely check out our videos. I'm Mr. Skipperdo. We just started the channel. We're just getting our feet wet, so bear with us as we work out all the complexities of it. But I wanted to give this big rundown. Just really impressed with this game. Been a console gamer for ages. I mean, forever, since I was a kid. Started with like the NES whenever I was very young, but recently bought a computer. I've always wanted to stream. I've always wanted to get on to YouTube and make some videos. That's what I'll watch most of my days while I'm at work. and listen to. So being able to contribute to that community is something that I'm really looking forward to and hoping that we can definitely do. So really, hopefully you stick with us. You help us get through the initial bugs and things that we're trying to figure out. If you've seen any of our other videos, you probably know that we aren't the best at what we do, but we are definitely getting there, right? Everyone starts somewhere, and we're excited to be there, starting with everyone else. So keep an eye out for us, Mr. Skipperdo, gaming together. We're all going to be one big happy family by the end of it. So y'all have a great day. Thanks for checking out the video. Have a good night.